Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Good to see a few of you up and at it. Hey there. Hey, good morning from Cebu. Oh, whoever that is, hope you're okay. Good to see you feeling a bit better. Kevin, all the way from Florida. Morning to you, mate. Afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you. Luke's here too. Bryce is up at it. Mick, hope you're well, mate. And Sonny, good to see you. Welcome, folks. Welcome. Good to see everyone this morning. I'll do the old intros while things are warming up and people are jumping on. Welcome to the Daily Show, where we have a quick chat about what's going on out there in the world of property investing, checking in on the media, the maniacs that are politicians, opinions, pontifications, and also ideas and strategies and tactics that work. Well, I think they work anyway. Why do I think they work? Well, because I've been privileged enough to coach property investors for well over 20 years and done plenty of property investing myself, done a fair few deals, over 10,000, helped our clients buy over 10,000 properties. Right now, we help them manage over 1,500, so property management as well. So we know one or two things about our little piece of this strange, wonderful thing we call property investing. Each morning, Jason Witten's my name, as you can see right there, if you didn't already know it. Most of you do, though. We get together about 10 past 8 and we have a chat about things, about what is happening, ideas, bits and pieces. So if you're new, hello and welcome. If you're coming back, awesome to have you back. Sonny is returning and he's in Melbourne. Here we go. Yes. Morning, Alison. Good to see you. Yes, Aria is one of the best of the best. That is for sure. That is so good. Glad that that they continue to impress and surprise, which is awesome. Morning, whoever that is in the Facebook groups. Rose, good morning to you. Jeff, Sonia, good to see you. You got champagne going, Sonia, not a coffee. It's a bit early for that. It's not even a Friday. Anyway, good morning, Sonia. Good to see you. Welcome along. Hey, Connie. There you go. Hey, Connie. Thanks for joining us all the way from NZ. Great to have you here. Fantastic to have you jumping on this morning. You're dead right. You're dead right, Sonia. I think it's 4 o'clock or 12 o'clock or something somewhere, isn't it? Why not? Why not, indeed? Well, let's crack on with it today, folks. Had an interesting conversation in the last couple of days with a client, a potential client, about asset protection. And interestingly, the advice that they had received had worked maybe in the short term, but in the long term wasn't that great when it came to asset protection. And I hear this all the time. I get these questions from you as a property investor, and rightly so. You know, hey, listen, I'm taking some risk. Yes, you are. What risks are they? Well, we should define that. We should understand what those risks are and how to best protect yourself from them. And to understand and realize you'll never 100% absolute protect yourself from risks. And then if you can't 100%, well, what's the downside? What's the upside, etc. So I thought we might do an overview of that today. Obviously, clearly, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a Wealth Coffee Chat is not good enough to get a full understanding, but I want to dive into that today. So let's have a quick chat about the idea of asset protection. Yep, you're dead right, Alison. The risk of doing nothing, yep, is far worse. And, often we're afraid of something that's not real, or we haven't quantified it, folks. We haven't quantified it. And this is a pretty interesting thing. So let's dive into it. We'll have a bit of a yarn about what this might mean. Yep, sounds... accountants. They love to set up structures. And, well, that's what they're trained to do. But often they don't know the full dimensions of what's going to impact a client medium and short term, and there's payoffs. There's payoffs. So 2 pieces to this. What are we trying to protect, folks? Tell me. There's 2 parts we're trying to protect in general. Big picture here. What are we trying to protect? When we talk asset protection, what are we trying to protect? In general, two big sort of parts to this puzzle. Put it in the chat for me. What do you think? Where are we? We're sitting here going, I need asset protection. Well, what are you protecting? There's two subsets, or there's 2 sets of things that may require some protection. And how do we do that? What do we do? What do we do? Anyone got any ideas? Anyone got any thoughts when it comes to this? Nothing coming through just yet. Well, I'll jump in because we're trying to protect you, the person, and we're trying to protect the assets that you might have. All right? Now, you, individual, separate to, folks, the assets. Now, they are joined sometimes when we do borrowing and other things, but this is the general gist of it. So let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about you. What are we trying to protect, folks? Tell me in the chat, what are we trying to protect with you when it comes to what we might call asset protection? And asset protection is a big conversation, and often it's important to understand, the things, in the world of financial products and exposure and risk and all that sort of stuff. But in general, what are we trying to do? We're trying to protect you, and we're trying to protect your assets. How do we protect you? What are the things that you can do to have some protection? Anybody know? Well, number 1, insurances, right? Number 1, insurances. You can have insurances. What are they? They're things like life insurance and income insurance and all sorts of stuff. Yes, absolutely, Connie, right? Insurance, you, individual, how do you get that sort of stuff? What's another way we can have protection? And Connie's hit on it right now. This is what I would call, the powers of attorney, POAs, all right? Your assets, how do you control them? Let's say, insurance. Let's say you lose your job. Let's say you get injured. Let's say something untoward happens, you're not prepared for. Let's say the worst happens, you might pass away accidentally, through an accident or something like that. Well, insurance is good. Powers of attorney, how do you manage and control those assets? All right. And then what else? All right. Okay, there is some estate. All right. Some processes of estate management. All right. Now, this might be high level. I'm just going to chuck them out there today. Insurance, powers of attorney, and estate level. You need, and, estate, what would be estate? Wills, and other things. Okay. That's what estate planning or estate protection is. Okay. You, the individual, right? How do we protect our assets, folks? How do we protect our assets when it comes to these things? And today we're going to just talk about how we do it with property. All right, property. We're going to talk about property investing, and how do you do that? So that's the idea. You as an individual right now, if you're sitting there going, do I have the right insurances for me? Do I have the right powers of attorney in place? Estate management, wills, etc. Have you got all those in place? If you don't, then go and see a good financial planner. And if you need a good financial planner, come and see me. And I've got a number of them that I recommend because they're good at what they do. Most of them are rubbish, sadly, for property investors because they don't like property. And they're not allowed to advise on property. So maybe that's a bit harsh, but nah, it's not really at the end of the day. They need to be better than they are. That is for sure. Now, listen, how do most customers I work with at Positive live in the world of PAYG, and even business owners, but I'll talk about business owners in a second. Let's have a look at what level of protection we might need for our assets. Let's say we own some real estate investments, okay? How can we protect those assets? What's the number one thing we should make sure we've got in place, folks, for your asset protection when it comes to your properties? Now, people talk about, no, I've seen this before. I've seen, setting up complex company and trust structures. For me, for most PAYG, the answer is the answer is that's ineffective. Okay, and the reality is, for many people, they end up in structures that don't give them the tax minimization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk about that in a second. Right, so let's go. Here we go. Sharon's onto it straight up. Good to see Sharon. Straight away, insurance. Number one thing, folks, insurance. Get your property insured. Get it insured by good insurers. Make sure you got the appropriate insurance, and make sure you keep it up to date. There's so many people that I've seen, and our property managers, are talking to people and they haven't got their insurance in place. I was like, what's wrong? That's crazy, right? Crazy. Insurance only cost you $1,000, maybe $1,500 a year maximum, but it is absolutely imperative, So what does insurance protect you from? Things get broken. A person injures themselves on your property. All sorts of things, some disasters, all that sort of stuff. Insurance is important, right? Now, what happens, I've heard this before, what happens if your tenant, wants to sue you or whatever rubbish that is, right? And it's like, well, that's what insurance is for. And what asset protection or structures do not protect you from is if you're a landlord and you didn't maintain and manage your property properly, you didn't follow the law, then none of those structures protect you at all, right? If you break the law and you don't do what you're meant to do, then all those structures are bullshit, right? But at the end of the day, if you have a job, PAYG, best way to do this, most effective, most efficient, and cost effective, boom, get the right insurance. Get the right insurance, okay? Number one thing for asset protection for you as a property investor, get the right insurance. Number two, what's the next most important thing? Is probably the first most important thing, let's face it. But anyway, I put it at number two. Number two starts with P, and it's a two words. This is probably the best asset protection and wealth protection you can ever have when it comes to your investment property. Tell me what that is, folks. Tell me what it is. Put it in the chat for me right now. Put that in the chat for me right now. What is it, folks? Does anybody know? All right. How can you protect yourself? How can you protect your assets? Sharon's all over it this morning. The rest of you are a bit slow. Good on you, Sharon. Get a fantastic property manager. Your property manager will manage the property, make sure it's maintained well, and choose the right tenants, okay? Help you get that sorted. A good property manager will take care of your property, folks. They'll take care of your property, okay? Insurance and property manager, 99.99% of all of the challenges or issues that you might have will be taken care of by those two amazing things. Insurance and property managers. Get hold of them pretty well, all right? The last one is one that you can deploy if you believe you've got some issues, challenges, or want to manage your property's exposure to some risk that you're taking outside of, your regular everyday life. What is it, folks? It starts with a D. You can manage. You can asset protect in your own way. Actually, that's not bad, Sharon. Not bad. Diversification. Well, you could probably link this to diversification, but it's debt. All right, debt. You can manage and structure your debt across your properties in a way that makes you look unattractive to anyone who wants to do something, sue you. Listen, the first thing that a lawyer will do is they'll look at your assets, they'll look at the loans against them, and if the loans are against those properties, there's multiple loans, and you've got debt on it, they'll be like, oh, that's going to be too hard. We're not going to get paid. If we sue that person, they'll end up, the bank will take charge because the first mortgage, you can, this is where, if you understand this, when you get to the right level, you can set up second mortgages against your own property and put that money in a bucket company investment vehicle and invest it somewhere else. So it does connect to diversification, Sharon, for sure. All right. You create the debt and then you diversify the investments out here. And that's how you protect your properties. Get good insurance, get a great property manager, manage the debt on those properties. So no one, it doesn't look like there's much to get in that structure itself. There you go. Anyway, company and trust structures. I've run out of time today to talk about those, but when are they effective? Well, they're effective for some business owners at the right level, and you should make sure you check in with your financial planner and your accountant. Your financial planner, your accountant, and your mortgage broker at the same time to see when and if you set up structures, what limitations they have, because they have quite large limitations when it comes to tax minimization from your PAYG income. And they've got limitations when it comes to borrowing and lending, maximizing your borrowing and lending, folks. All right. So you've got to manage those things well, right, as you go along. So there you go. PAYG, asset protection, simple but powerful. Insurance, property manager, debt, best way to get it done. Okay. What I might do is I might have a look at the world of structures, another Wealth Coffee Chat day, I think, as we go. In there for sure. The insurance team, you can ask the property managers or your coach, Rose. We've got some great insurance companies that we use. We know that have got good policies. So reach out to your coaching team. They'll point you in the right direction for sure. But there you go. All right, folks, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done. Pretty low-key one today, but I thought that was important because I did see a client end up with six company trust structures. And that was quite, and they were POIG. Jeez, I tell you. Anyway, that's it, folks. Done and dusted today. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Join me tomorrow for another one if you're up for it. If you got any thoughts, got anything you want me to have a chat about, let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll circle around and have a look after we finish today. But until then, folks, remember a couple of sayings around here. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take time to build your property portfolio. Sometimes there's just boring stuff to do, like get insurance. Yeah. Make sure you got your wills in place. Make sure you got your powers of attorney sorted out. Those sorts of things, folks. Anyway, signing off. See you tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat. Till then, folks, take care. Bye for now.